Hello and welcome to my Valkyrie introduction guide. In this guide, I'll be going over skills and glyphs to help you become familiar with Valkyrie. I will also have an advanced guide on my channel that will go into gear and rotations for those who are already familiar with Valkyrie. Now let's get started. Alright, for the skills. So you have Slash, which is Valkyrie's basic auto attack. The fourth hit will reset Leaping Slash. However, Slash should really never be used outside of PvP at max level. Overhead Slash. This is a stun for Valkyrie. It does an arc in front of you. Glaive Strike. Glaive Strike is one of your hard-hitting skills, and you want to use this right after Leaping Slash, and it generates 2 rune marks. Charge. This is your dash forward. If you use it in PvP, it will stagger the opponent. Maelstrom hits the target up to 6 times, and each hit applies a rune mark. This also pulls small enemies in. Leaping Slash. Now, Leaping Slash is a 2-hit combo. If both hits hit the target, then a rune mark is generated, and on successful hits, this allows you to combo into Glaive Strike and or Ground Bash within a 4-second window. Spitting Death. Spitting Death can be used up to 3 times before going on cooldown. The last hit can cause knockdown and will generate a rune mark. Titan's Bane. This is a long cooldown ability, and it is channeled. And what you want to do with this is you want to stack it up 5 times, and this will give your party 20% increased damage per stack. And during Ragnarok, it does 30% increased damage per stack. And then also, the longer you charge it, the higher crit chance it has. Ground Bash. Now, Ground Bash is only usable after Leaping Strike, and it generates 1 rune mark. Dream Slash. This throws a crescent-shaped projectile forward. It will crit on knockdown and suspended targets. If the target already has a rune mark, then Dream Slash resets the cooldown of Leaping Slash and generates 1 rune mark. Shining Crescent. This is your big damage skill. You want to use it with 7 rune marks, and if you do this, then you'll be able to use it a second time immediately, and it generates 2 rune marks. Ragnarok. This is your buff that allows you to do a huge amount of damage. Once you have generated a full Ragnarok bar, you can activate this skill. The skill resets all your skills with less than 60-second cooldowns and gives 50 power, 20 attack speed, 20% range on skills, and 60% cooldown reduction on skills with less than 60-second cooldown. Bloodflower. This ability hits the target rapidly, 6 hits. If all 6 hits hit the target, then it is stunned. Now, this doesn't work on bosses or BAMs. However, the 6th hit will also generate a rune mark. Evasion. This is your Valkyrie's iframe, and it can be used 2 times within a 4-second window, but without going on cooldown. In addition, if you successfully evade something, you get perfect evasion, which makes your next attack that is not slash a guaranteed crit. Wind Slash. This is a quick AoE attack that resets the cooldown of Leaping Slash. Rune Burst. This is your 2nd rune mark spender as a Valkyrie. Rune Burst explodes rune marks on the target, dealing damage in a small AoE. Each rune mark generates 100 mana. In addition, when you reach 7 rune marks, this skill automatically refreshes its cooldown. Baldur's Tear. This is a buff that you give yourself, that you generate 3 orbs that reduce incoming damage on attacks by 70%. In addition, this prevents you from being stunned, staggered, or knocked back. Reclamation. Reclamation takes all the rune marks on your target and puts them on your Valkyrie. In addition, this generates 1 rune mark. Backstab. Backstab teleports the Valkyrie behind the target. This resets Leaping Slash if the target already has rune marks. Dark Herald. This ability pulls smaller monsters into whoever has the rune marks. This includes if the rune marks are on yourself. In addition to all the actives, another thing you want to be aware of is your Ragnarok points. Once you reach 1,000 Ragnarok points, you can then use your Ragnarok skill. Now, the Ragnarok points are located right below your MP under your health bar. In addition, you also want to know that if there are rune marks on your target and your target dies, then the rune marks are automatically transferred to you. You can do this manually before the target dies by using Reclamation. Alright, now let's move on to the glyphs. For Valkyrie, the glyph page is not always the same for each fight and for everybody. It's going to vary slightly depending on playstyle. However, most of the glyph points are spent the same, and those are the ones I'll be going over today. For Glaive Strike, you want Empowered Glaive Strike because more damage on a hard-hitting skill is always good. For Maelstrom, you want Energetic to use more often and allows you to use multiple times during Ragnarok. Carving, so that it crits more often and empowered to do more damage with those crits. Maelstrom is used very frequently during Ragnarok, therefore it will deal a lot of damage. Spinning Death. Power linked is so that it can be used before big damage skills like Shining Crescent and Rune Burst. You want to try and use this before every Shining Crescent. Now, Shining Crescent itself, you want an energetic and empowered. It's Valkyrie's hardest hitting skill, therefore you want to use it as many times as possible and for it to hit hard as possible. For Ragnarok, you want to use Lingering Ragnarok, so that way you can have Ragnarok up for as long as possible each time you use it. Bloodflower, you want Ardent Bloodflower, which will increase the rate of generating Ragnarok points, and more Ragnaroks, the better. Invasion, you want to use Opportunist, because every time you perfect invade, you can reset your Bloodflower. Rune Burst, you want to use Ardent and Empowered, so that way you gain Ragnarok points faster and you still do more damage. Backstab, you want the Power Link. It's the same reason for Spinning Death. You want to use this before your hard-hitting skills like Shining Crescent and Rune Burst. Dark Herald, Power Link will boost the damage of Rune Burst, and that way it does more damage. So the core of the Glyphs is 47 out of 55. The last 8 points are up to you. If you want, you can use Carving on Bloodflower and Persistent on Invasion, and these are great for people starting out on Valkyrie. It's very safe. It allows Bloodflower to do more damage. If you're a little bit more experienced, you can use the last remaining points on Dream Slash, Hastened, and Carving, so that way you can fit Dream Slash into your rotations. It's up to you. It's preference. So in conclusion, Valkyrie is a burst class that does a large amount of damage during Ragnarok, but does a good amount outside of it. The goal of Valkyrie is to get Ragnarok as fast as possible and as often as possible. In addition, Valkyries want to do as many Shining Crescents during Ragnarok to maximize their DPS. Currently, with our version of Valkyrie, you can get 3, so you always want to aim for 3 Shining Crescents during Ragnarok. I will go over gear and rotations in my second guide on my channel. I hope you learned something from Valkyrie introduction guide. If you did, leave a like on this video. And if you like this content, consider subscribing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them.